Okay, everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino. It's a freaking freak show again. Let's talk. So, yes, it is Friday, April 29th, 2022. We got some pretty astounding economic news again this morning. And I want you to pay attention to a few things here and how it's going to be spun by the mainstream propaganda ministries. So, what did we find out yesterday? Well, that our economy, by their own admission, is not growing. It's not even staying static. It is shrinking, something you and I have known for a very long time. You know what's interesting here? Month after month after month, we have heard from the Federal Reserve. We're going to hear from them next week, as a matter of fact. And they've been explaining that our economy is growing at a moderate pace. Now, we know that's not true, okay? I wonder why, again, no one is holding the Federal Reserve to account here. You know, speaking of the Federal Reserve, and I'm just going to let this out right now. So we're going to get a rate hike this week. There's no doubt, well, week coming. That's just a given. 50 basis points, despite the fact, think about this. We got negative growth, surging inflation, and cratering, and I mean cratering, real wages. That's part of the news that we got this morning. As a matter of fact, this is the spin. We found out this morning that, again, they're saying that people are earning more money, 0.5% in March. Meanwhile, the same month, inflation, core prices are rising at 5.2% or 5.4%. Hold on, I wrote it down here. Core prices are rising at 5.4%. So, let's see. People are earning 0.5% more, but core prices are rising at 5.4%. That is a huge negative with regard to real wages. Make it up. Make this stuff up. But watch what they're going to do. Turn on Bloomberg, Fox Business, any of these propaganda ministry channels out here, CNBC, and they can tell you, oh yeah, this is so fantastic. People are earning more money. People are hurting. People are suffering. And the only people who seem to care is you and me. And this phenomenon, as we both know, is going to get much, much worse. It's crazy. Absolutely, completely nuts. Now, here's another spin. So we found out that personal spending, imagine my shock and yours, continues to rise. This is an inflationary phenomenon, and you and I are aware of that. People are out here hoarding non-perishables before their prices go up even more. Again, do your own research. Look at history. And in an inflationary environment, this is what people do. But they're going to spin it as, oh yeah, people are earning more money, 0.5%. Meanwhile, core prices are about 5.4. Oh, and they're spending more. This is great. This proves that our economy is great and the consumer is strong. You can't possibly make this stuff up, but that's the truth, people. Okay, so on the back of all that, I'll tell you what else is going on. Let's look at the market. I explained to you yesterday that I wanted to see a follow-through rally after yesterday. Again, in my view, and I still could be wrong on this, but in my view, this market is retesting the recent low for the S&P 500. You all know that. I've been covering it at length every freaking day since Friday. The big sell-off on Friday. Okay, we had a nice rally yesterday. Okay, in order to convince me that this is over, we need a follow-through today. Are we going to get it? Well, let's look over at the market. Stock futures are lower right now. However, 10-year yield higher. Cash is leaving the debt market. When you see the 10-year yield rise, cash is leaving the debt market. The relative strength of the dollar is lower today and crude oil is higher. So, Even though stock futures are lower right now, the setup for the market, despite the continued bad economic news, is not so bad. We need to watch how it plays out. I think this is what's going to happen here. We're going to get a rate hike from the Fed, as I just outlined, come next week, 50 basis points. But flying in the face of an economy that, by their own admission, is now shrinking. We've known the economy is in free fall for I don't know how long. I've been telling you this. The global economy is in free fall, shrinking. And as a percentage of GDP, I've covered this at length too. Our economy is cratering at its fastest pace ever in history. So that's not a surprise either to anyone that follows this blog. But anyway, with that said, I believe there is a very strong possibility, and we're going to see if this happens. Look, I'm just throwing this out here, people. So I just want to let you know where my brain is at in this whole thing. We're going to get a 50 basis point hike next week, and the Federal Reserve is probably going to slow down. Then we might get a 25, maybe a couple of 25s here, because again, by their own admission, our economy is shrinking. Real wages are cratering. Inflation out of control. And look at the situation here. And you know this better than anybody. The Fed is guaranteeing, by design, that inflation will continue to surge because they continue to suppress rates. The mechanism remains in place. That is the issuance of debt through one door, buying it back through another door, a ballooning money supply, and asset purchases will not stop. So this mechanism is massively inflationary. And if any of you out here believe that this is not by design or on purpose deliberate, then you don't know what you are looking at. All of it is on purpose. And you're going to see more mechanisms thrown at you to borrow more money out of the future. Again, what did we find out yesterday? Our illustrious President Franken-Mummy. I kind of like that because he looks like Frankenstein and the Mummy both at the same time. Another $33 billion to fund the Ukraine war through September, for which he's going to come back in next Congress for even more money on top of the $15 billion we just sent over there. We have another $1 trillion slated to spend on COVID. And then we got, of course, Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan, calling for a $1.3 trillion spending package to combat the energy crisis. And then you got Janet Yellen over there, the other one, saying that we need to fund the food crisis. Do you see where we're going? Every one of these is a means to an end. They are a mechanism being put in place deliberately to pull cash from the future to support the debt-based economic model. You know what they're going to do? They will kill millions, tens of millions, to make sure the debt-based economic model stays in place. They will bring us to war, a global war. They will wipe out a large percentage of the population if they have to keep it going. This is how central banks keep their power, by or via the debt-based economic model. The world is a slave to their product, and their product is one thing: debt. When you hear a central banker talk about tools in their toolbox, we have tools. They have one tool. That is the manipulation of debt, the issuance of debt, and that's it, and you know it. The rest of it is just dog shit, cat shit, bird shit, and everything else connected to it. You know that too. Anyway, people, look, so that's the story. In summary here, we have stock futures that are lower. However, the setup for the market is not bad. Crude oil surging higher this morning. WTI over 106. Get used to it, okay? You got the 10-year yield higher. You know what this means. Cash leaving the debt market is going to look for somewhere to go. You got a weaker dollar, so the setup's not bad. Let's see how that plays out moving forward. We have a market that more than likely is going to price in the fact that our economy is, by their own words, shrinking. The Fed is going to keep the easy money flowing. So what does that mean? higher stock prices. All of this, people, is not hard to figure out if you just realize the dynamics that are in place. You got it? I think you do. Please comment. Let me know again what you think about everything I'm talking about, especially in this video. I think we covered a lot of things that are very, very important. And watch for the spin. Like I said, they're going to spin it. People are earning more money. They're spending. It's fantastic. With real wages creating at their fastest pace in history. You can't make this stuff up. It's impossible to do. All right, I'm out of here. Love you a lot. See you later.